people are so precious. We never know when is the next time we're going to see them. And this is part of the practice of living in the moment, to appreciate who you have when you have them. In the past few years, and my sister and I, we lost a brother and we lost a sister, and we've lost so many people. And I know everybody out there, you've all lost someone. So it's really important to appreciate people when they are with you. We have this habit of not living in the present because we think we have forever, and that they will be with us forever, or we will be there forever. And living in the present involves enjoying every moment. And how can you do it? How can you enjoy every moment, even if it's, supposing a moment is really bad and something nasty is happening to you? How can one enjoy that? Well, the truth is, you can't. You just have to get through it. You got it? You just have to get through it. And for this, you need resilience. You need strength. Now, how do you develop strength? Because the mind is such a crazy instrument. As we all know, in the yoga science, we work with our minds. So how do we develop strength? And the only way to develop strength is to know yourself. So if you want to live in the moment, first of all, know yourself. Know your thinking patterns. Are you a negative person? Are you a positive person? What kind of person are you? That's why I always say, when you first start watching your mind, you can get a little disturbed. You might be surprised at the contents of your mind. And I know this because when I first started yoga, the science of adapting and transforming myself to be the best person I can be in this physical body, I was quite shocked by the contents of my own mind. There was a lot of anger, there was a lot of victimhood. I felt victimized, and I wasn't. I allowed myself to feel that way. So living in the present requires constant reflection, constant contemplation. And this is why I keep telling you every week, spend some time on your own, by yourself. I know life is busy. I really know that. But life is here for a short time, and you want to make the most use of that time. I say short because I remember when I was 12 and suddenly I'm 66. How did I get here? I still feel 18. I still feel young, but my body tells me otherwise. And so do my wrinkles. So you have to laugh. It goes so quick. So it is really important to make use of our human mission. So step number 1, living in the present. Know yourself. Know the contents in your mind. If you are having a bad day, it's because you allow some incident that has caused you discomfort to live in the mind, and you keep it there all day by thinking about it again and again and again and again. So what's happened? You're thinking about something that happened maybe at 10 o'clock in the morning, and by the time you go to bed, you've played with this thought so much that you can't sleep. The mind's still going, it's churning away, you're depressed, so you've lost your whole day. You've lost the whole day. And you know how I changed this chip was when I saw myself doing this, I said to myself, this person or this circumstance has caused me so much pain, and I'm allowing them to continue to cause me pain? Who is the fool? Who is the fool? They've already caused me pain, and then I allow the pain to sit with me and allow myself to fester. I've just played into their hands. That's exactly what they wanted. They wanted to hurt me. So how do I deal with this? Many people don't like it when I say this, but the only way to deal with it is to forgive it, to let it go. And how can you forgive it and let it go when it causes you so much pain? Is one, that pain is getting you nowhere. It will just build up in your system and make you sick. And two, you can let it go because you know there is no other way. Simply, forgiveness is the only way. And of course, you can't forgive very quickly. This takes time. So the practice is going through that situation that caused you so much pain and saying, this has happened to me because, one, I need to build up my spiritual muscles. I need to be strong. Every time somebody says boo to me, I can't fall apart. So this has happened to me to make me strong. What can I learn from this? If you say this to yourself, then you want to let it go. You want to forgive because you realize it is a lesson for you. Remember, very clearly, yoga, connection with the higher self, connection with the divine, connection with the universe, whatever you want to call it, is not about changing anybody else. Please understand this very clearly. It is about self-transformation. And it is really important to understand that we can so easily do this if we decide to spend some time with ourselves, just to know ourselves a little better, and spend time with what I call the divine, the God in us, whatever you want to call it again. Words, remember, words are just words. What is important is the energy that you give things, or the energy you take from things. We are made up of, scientifically, atoms, energy. So we need to fuel our body with good energy, with love, with acceptance, with forgiveness, with service, with laughter. So when you have a bad start in the morning, I suggest, as we say in Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali, practicing Pratipaksha Bhavana, which is replacing the negative with the opposite positive thought. So do something so opposite to that pain. See a vision of something. I always think laughter is the best medicine. So see a picture of something that makes you laugh, that makes you feel uplifted. And like Sri Patanjali says, be around happy people. It will lift your mood. It will lift your mood. Remember, you want to be your best therapist. So once you know these things are possible, then you want to do it for yourself. Because why would anybody want to live with anger and pain? You know, I've seen, like I said, I've done so much counseling in the last 30 years. And you know, I have people who come to me, they've been, for example, this lady I met in another country, her husband had an affair and he apologized. He really loved her. He really made a big mistake. They were very much in love. He had an affair. And then he said, he apologized that I really want to come back to you, forgive me. But she didn't want to forgive him. And so she started doing a lot of angry things towards him, which was not her character. She was the most gentle, beautiful woman. And suddenly she became a hard, vicious woman. And she came to see me at this point. And I told her, you need to let it go. If you can't forgive him, then you're better off to leave him totally and wait till you have time. Give yourself time to forgive. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take a long time. So give yourself space. Be around people who love you. And think, why did he do this? If he really wants to get back and he's really sorry and his history is truthful, a good man, you also need to think really clearly, do you really want to lose this good man? Well, she did think really clearly. She didn't want to lose him. But her anger was too powerful that all that shouting and screaming, finally after 6 months, he cried. He told me, cried his eyes out. He said, I really want to go back with my wife. She's the love of my life, but I can't live like this. So he left her. So, okay, he left her. I meet her 4 or 5 years later, and she's met somebody else, actually. That was quite interesting. And I met this new man with her, and he was, again, a really, really good, kind man, right? And she was crying. She came to, I want to introduce you to my new partner. So I said, and she said, but I'm so unhappy. I'm on antidepressants. And I said, why? Why have you done this? You're now with somebody who loves you, somebody who cares for you. You left your husband. It's already been 4 years. Enjoy him. Enjoy this man. And he put his arms around her and he said, you see, I told you to enjoy me. And then he said, you don't know how I feel. You don't know what my husband did to me. And I go, but live in the present now. Now you're with this nice man. Forget it. 4 years ago, it's done. It's finished. You're blessed. Can you focus on now? She couldn't. Unfortunately, she couldn't. And unfortunately, he also left her, which led her to a depression. And eventually, she didn't commit suicide, but she took too many tablets and overdosed. I don't think she ever meant to commit suicide because she wasn't a suicidal person, but she couldn't deal with the anger. It was the anger. You know this, how can you do it to me? How can you do it to me? How can you do it to me? And I told her, who doesn't have some horrible thing happen to them? I guess because she had such a good marriage that she couldn't believe that this could happen. So, you see, living in the past just is a downward spiral. We don't seem to remember good things of the past. And when people have arguments with their partners and they say to me, oh, they've done this. And I go, I'd like you to tell me what good things they've done for you today, or any other day. So you mean your partner's never done anything good for you? No, they have. Tell me. As they start talking about the good things, their face literally changes. That scrunched up anger, the body, everything starts to relax. So I tell them, notice, you are changing your words, you are changing your thoughts, your body is benefiting from it. And they go, oh, nothing to do with your partner. He's not even in this room. It's your thoughts that can change your life. So this is why it's so important to live in the present. Do you see? The mind goes on and on and on like a crazy record. And that's why we do all the yoga practices. Everybody, all of you know, when you take a hatha yoga class, and at the end of the class, integral yoga class, we do the deep relaxation, then we do the breathing. By the time you've finished, your whole attitude is different. Your energies have changed. As Dr. Mala Cunningham said, we've got doze after a class. What does that mean? It increases your dopamine levels, oxytocin levels, serotonin levels, and your endorphins, which make you feel happy. So you've got doze. You see, our hormones react to our moods. And that's why we feel so good. So we really are body, mind, and spirit. Also, when we are not living in the present and we're a little bit down, our energy field really deteriorates. We become what we call tamasic, lazy, and loss of inspiration. This is why exercise is so important. Please do some exercise every day. It helps you to live in the present because you feel energized. Rest of the day you can rest, but do at least half an hour of exercise every day. When I don't have time, I dance around my kitchen. I just dance. I do da 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 da. I do the Charleston. It's true, right, Les? Yes, every morning, he knows. Because I go, today I don't have too much time to walk, or today I've got too many consultations, I'm sitting too much. I'll just dance in the kitchen. Make your life simple. Live in the present. Have music. This is the way to do it. This is the way to help yourself. All right? Now I am going to answer the questions that I was given last week and I didn't have time to answer. What is the best way to be present when you are living with the people and surrounded by places that formed your past and caused your past and caused your pain? How can you be present when this situation is a constant reminder of past pain? When is it okay to look to the past and to look to the future? Let's start with the first part of the question. What is the best way to be present when you are living with people and surrounded by places that formed your past and caused your pain? Okay, if you can, solution number one, if this situation, this environment is such a reminder of so much pain, you should remove yourself from that place. Really, you should. And let's say it is not possible. For example, now in lockdown, many people, are in places that they are not really very comfortable in. I meet many young people who are having lovely time at university and with their friends at home, first time experiencing independence from family. They've had to go home. Not that they don't love their family, they do love their family, but there is this lack of mixing with other people, university students, and it's been hard for them. So they've come to me and say, and then they start to find all the faults in their family and this and that because they're frustrated. So the first thing I say to them is, you are here for a reason. You're here for a reason. You are stuck because there's something you need to learn, not about anybody else, about yourself. And now, even though you want to leave, you can't. First, count your blessings. Thank God you have a parent's home to stay in. Save on rent, save on food, save on so much. Thank God. So rather than looking at it as a punishment, look at it as a blessing. Maybe it's not your parents' place. Maybe it's somebody who's caused you pain. Think of it now. The fact that you're actually living with them means they're close. They're close in some way or the other. And that's why you're feeling the pain. But if you're feeling the pain, they're also feeling the pain. Think, how can I spend my time? I'm stuck. Remember, yoga is about self-transformation. What is it that I can't let go of? Pain is something that we have to give time to before it leaves us. I love to tell the children's story of the bear. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You have to go through it. We have to go through the storm and the rains before we see a rainbow. So while you're going through this painful time, it is very important to be in the present and see how you can heal this. For me, life is all about healing. It's about healing, it's about closure, it's about just loving all in the end, in here and in here. So ask, what has caused the pain? The truth is, it always takes two hands to clap. Really, it is the truth. And sometimes I know some of my patients get angry with me when I tell them the other hand is stronger, and maybe yours is, you still need the other hand to make a sound, is weaker. But you still have a part in it. Know your part and see how you can transcend it. How can you transcend it? So you're stuck in a place. For me, creativity is brilliant. Create. And as Master Shivananda, creativity is brilliant. Paint, write, do whatever you need. And if these people that you're facing every day are causing you so much anguish, really you need to sort it. So communication, you need to sit down with them in a moment of love, when you're feeling a lot of love in your heart. So what you do is, if you are spiritual, pray a lot, meditate a lot, see love all around you, see the people that you are living with had caused you so much pain, cover them with light, and go to them and tell them, may I talk with you? I really love you all, but I really would love us all to live in peace. And this has caused me so much pain in the past. And can we talk about it? Because I need to forgive, and maybe I have done something to hurt you that I am not even aware of. Please tell me. But in order to do this, you must be extremely strong. You must be extremely prepared. I had to do that myself for somebody who had caused me a lot of pain. I practiced for 6 months every day this speech. And do you know what? When I actually got to say it, the other person actually attacked me. And I was really excited because I could stay so calm. And because I stayed so calm and didn't retaliate, okay, thank you, this is your opinion. You don't want peace? Okay, I accept. That's what I said. I left the room. The next morning, that person said to me, I've been thinking about what you say. And if I've done anything to hurt you, I'm sorry. It was a miracle. It was an absolute miracle. I did not expect it. It happened. Now, I've taught a lot of people to do this in their lives. I've had daughters that haven't gone along with their mothers or fathers, and I've told them, try to make peace. Maybe you won't love them the way you want to, but at least make peace before they go or you go. Because if you don't, you will always feel guilty. For the rest of your life, you'll feel guilty. You don't ever have to see them again, but you need to make peace. Now, the next thing you can do, creativity is one, communication is the other. You must communicate. And if none of that works, then for me, service, what we do with our charity, that's why we started the Karma Yoga part of yoga. It's not just about yoga classes, it's just not only about ourselves, it's about service. Serve, love, give, meditate, purify, realize, do good, be kind, be compassionate, inquire, who am I, and be free, adapt, adjust, accommodate, bear insult, bear injury, highest practice, highest sadhana. Do it now, do it now, do it now. These are the words of Master Shivananda. Master Shivananda is the master of our beautiful master, Sri Swami Satchidananda. And I just love those words. I had it pinned up by my bedside as soon as I started yoga at the age, I think I was 33 years old. And I looked at those words day after day after day after day, and that helped me through all the pain that I was going through at that time. And service, our master said, the dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace. So live only to serve. When you're thinking, what can I do for you? I'm excited to be useful in this life, then you forget yourself. And when I first started SIS and went to Sri Lanka after the tsunami, and the way everybody was thanking me and my team, Marina went with me and Annie at that time, and thanking us for bringing them money and asking me to thank Gibraltar, all the team in Gibraltar. I had to thank them for allowing us to learn about their resilience, their strength. Everything was gone. There was a woman there who was the cook for the orphanage we visited, that actually our master had set up there. And she lost her house, her husband, and all her children. Can you believe it? And she was still there making a makeshift kitchen in the grounds, with wood, the old-fashioned way, and cooking for all the orphans. And there were about 45 in that school. After she'd lost everything, she was still there serving. And when the headmaster of the school told me about her, she actually went to this little tiny room that she was given in the school, which is no more than a meter. All her clothes are piled up. I don't even know how she slept there, crunched up. One last sari that she had, she put on the beautiful sari to meet me, to thank me for giving her 500 euros. 500 is nothing, to start an entire life. She had zero. She was crying the whole time with gratitude. And I thought, if I was in her position, would I be so gracious? Would I be so nice? Would I don't know. She lost everything and she was serving these kids. And I knew nothing about service. I didn't even understand the meaning of that word. It really humbled me to such a degree. And after that, I came home and I told my husband whenever he complained that business was bad. Poor guy, I just gave him all these, telling him these stories. I said, we have no right to complain. We have no right to complain. These people have nothing. And then when we went to India as well, a whole group of us of 34 of us, and same thing, we went to all these places and we saw the poverty and we saw people didn't complain like we do in the West. What's happened? And we can't live in the present. They have nothing, so they live in the present. We have everything and we can't live in the present. What's wrong with our thinking? What's wrong with us? Are we intelligent beings? As Homo sapiens, have we advanced at all? We're supposed to advance spiritually. We are supposed to advance. But what have we done? We've created fear. We create anger. We create trouble. Where is the peace that we are supposed to bring in the world? And now with all these fears, we add on more pain by complaining about everything else. What is the point? Where is our journey? Where is it going to lead us? We must look within. We are so blessed, and gratitude is the final thing I will say. Think of what you do have every single minute. I'm sitting, like I said, I'm so grateful for my visitors, so grateful for the people who help me, so grateful for this home. Yes, it's COVID. Nobody is making much money. So what? We have everything. We have a plate of food. We can all love each other. We can serve each other. We can share with each other. And it's fun. It's fun because, energy is like this. And when you live in the past, you cannot live in the present. So try and focus. And this is the meaning of meditation, learning to focus, contemplation, focus. What should I focus my mind on? And you practice this. Positives. And then when the negative comes, you are strong to face it. Otherwise, if you don't practice, when the negative comes, you fall apart. And if you don't love you, who's going to love you? If you don't look after this body and this mind, why should anybody? Nobody has, it's your own body, mind, and why should anybody look after us? We should be independent beings. Sometimes we human beings are very pathetic. Do you agree? Nobody's agreeing me. We're quite funny as human beings. I think we really need to grow up. So let me do the second part of the question. How can you be present when this situation is a constant reminder of past pain? You have no choice. And I've given you the answer of that. When is it okay to look to the past and look to the future? Good question. It's okay to look at the past when, something happens to you in the present. And let's say you remember your reaction in the past. Actually, Sri Patanjali talks about this. Let's say, for example, let me give you an example so you can understand this. Let's say you just had an argument with someone, okay? You scream, they scream, you scream, they scream. And let's say somebody you living close to. Because if it wasn't, you don't have to live with them. I would say just leave. But let's say they are. Okay. So now you're in the present and the same trigger happens. You look at your past. Your reaction of screaming just produced a roller coaster of painful events that may last not only one day, but many days. 2, your anger, the words you say, as Tiruvalluvar said, a word is like a bird. Once you say it, you cannot bring it back. So you may say something horrible, and 10 years later, somebody will say, but you said it to me. 10 years later, they'll remember it. I'm telling you. So what you need to do is then just think. In the past, there was this action and there was this reaction. In the present, do I really want that future to look bleak and painful and bad? Do I really want to go through this again? And then when you really think, you will say, I'm not a fool. A fool makes the mistakes again, again, and again. I looked at my past. I've made this mistake 100 times, which is what I had learned about myself. I'm not going to do it. And this is training. Living in the moment. You know, because those old feelings, you feel it welled up. Your stomach will cringe. You'll feel like, ugh. And you just have to hold your breath. And this is where the practice of pranayama is brilliant. You take a deep breath. And you hold, you restrain. It doesn't say repress, it says restrain. Remember, this is a big difference. Restrain, hold back for a little while so you can just calm yourself. And then you have a different reaction. So a person has called you, for example, oh, you're so stupid. And they go, yeah, you're the one, and da-da-da. You're so stupid. You keep quiet. You can either say, I really didn't deserve that, and walk away. Finish. Or just look and, and just do peace and walk away. That's your opinion. I'm not here to change it. People don't know how to handle that, by the way. I've done it many times in my life. And I remember when I was first teaching many, many years ago, I had a young girl who came in when I was teaching the children's class, and she was 7 years old. And she said to me, I don't know what to do. My parents are always arguing and I just get so angry and I scream and they don't stop. Oh, so next time they argue, do me a favor. Cross the room and go, Om Shanti, Om Peace. Om Shanti, Om Peace. Om Shanti, Om Peace. She was only 7. The next week when she came to my class, she used to call me Auntie Nalanie. Auntie Nalanie, Auntie Nalanie. What? I did it. What happened? They both looked at me and they both started laughing. They stopped fighting. And so I'm doing it every time now. I just thought that was so sweet. It was just so sweet. Children, they're just wonderful. So I hope I've answered that part of when you can look at the past. And of course you can look at the past when you have beautiful memories. I think we have beautiful memories so that in rainy days we can let those good memories inspire us. And do you know when we had that time together, and you laugh about those good times, and so looking back at the past with good memories, we love it. Like the Sunday I was here with my daughter and my granddaughter, 3 of us on the sofa looking at old photographs of the past. And we had such a giggle, such a laugh, remembering all those great times. The afternoon passed like 3 hours, felt like 10 minutes, and 3 of us cuddling each other, which we rarely have time to do with all this separation these days. We really made use of our time, and we just had a brilliant afternoon looking at the past, and made us so inspired, so inspired. So yeah, that's okay. You can look at past and see what inspires you. In fact, that's not a bad thing to do. It makes you really happy and giggle about it. So that's the time you can look in the past. And future, yes, we all need sometimes to make plans for the future. If you don't plan, how are you going to get? If you don't have a dream, how are you going to achieve it? So have these dreams. They're not bad for you. They're brilliant, because if you don't have them, you cannot achieve it. If I don't see a picture in my mind of what I'm going to paint, I'm not going to paint it. I'll just be staring at the canvas, come, you know. But some kind of vision, some kind of picture, some kind of color. So it's important you have some kind of vision for your future. The problem is not having the dream or the vision. The problem only stops when we are attached to that dream or the vision. Sometimes we have a vision and a dream and it doesn't turn out. It just doesn't turn out our way. When that happens, know something better is going to turn up. It is. It happened in my life. I had so many visions. None of the visions that I thought turned out, but instead all this turned out so much better than I could have ever imagined. Never ever thought I'd be a teacher. In yoga, I was teacher of dance, teacher of music, teacher of this, teacher of that. And I go, I don't want to be a teacher. And look what happened, right? And because of this job that came to me, my master, Nalanie, when are you going to teach? I have met the most incredible people in my life. All of you guys, really such good people. I'm surrounded by good. I have had such an incredible life, traveled to so many countries, met such great hosts and hostesses wherever I went. I could have never done that if I had my original dream. There was a better dream. So have a vision and then be willing to adapt, adjust, accommodate if it doesn't turn out your way. There is a reason for it. There really is. The plan is really perfect. When we stress and we resist, this is when it takes longer for us to make changes. Sometimes we just have to take risks. Sometimes we just have to change. Sometimes we just have to jump, that extra jump, and it's scary. And it is scary. Do it. But live in the present. You know, don't allow 10 years of your life to go feeling, I need to change, I need to change, I need to change. You have the vision, follow it. If it hasn't worked in one way, it will come up in another way, in a different way. But trust, never lose faith in dreams, never lose faith in yourself. Always inspire yourself. Why has this happened? You know, every stepping stone of failure leads you to success. You know why? You'll never make those mistakes again. And it's fun. Life is about up and down. If everything, as my master said, if everything was smooth, it would be pretty boring. It would be. We are learning so much in this time of lockdown. We're having so much quiet time. Reflect on what you have gained and not what you have lost. Reflect on what you can give, not what you can take. Reflect on building up, using this time, this present time, to build up your spiritual muscles, your mental muscles. It's very easy to build up the body because it's physical. Very difficult with your mind. So you need to sit with your mind and practice this daily. So when you practice it daily, you put yourself in perspective. And yes, never lose your dreams and never lose faith. And all things pass, good and bad. Everything passes. So the seasons, to everything there is a season. Everything turns, everything churns to make life a kaleidoscope of colors and energies. And if everything is always perfect, then we don't even know what good is anymore. You know, we have no fluctuations in our life. So amidst those fluctuations, which is why we came to Earth to experience, the yoga practice is to be still inside of you. That is the practice. It's kind of like, in order for the car to go, the road has to be still. The road doesn't move, it's cement, it's tarmac. The road is the road. But the cars need the still road to move. If you got them both moving, we would be in chaos. So Beneath us is spirit. We are spirit. We are spirit. We are energy. We're made out of energy, light, sound, energy. So these energies vibrate in our body. And it's constantly to recall that important truth. That is the most important. If you can constantly recall that I am soul, I am energy, having a limited time in this creative body, then you will make the most use of your life. You will have to, because there's no other choice. Because you'll just realize, I'm not this body. I'm not. And I'm just borrowed. I'm borrowed. I don't even belong to me. So what can I do with my life? Try to live it as beautifully as possible. That's common sense, isn't it? For me, that is common sense. And the only way you can live like that is enjoy the present. Sometimes the present is not so nice, like I said, and then take a few deep breaths and tell yourself, this too shall pass. It will pass. Tomorrow morning will be better. How many times? I remember in the past, I used to be very nervous when I used to produce a show or fashion show or a dance show, and all my dancers would dance and with all the tickets sold, and the whole night I would be up. Oh, how is it going to work? How is it going to work? What if the lights go up? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes? Of course, the next day the show would happen. Nothing would go wrong. It went perfectly. Okay, maybe little hitches, but you always get little hitches. No big deal was no big deal. And then when I watched myself, the final, when I started to meditate, I was able to watch myself. And when I would have a show the following day, I would just go to sleep and say, it will be what it will be. And then I could sleep the whole night so nicely. It will be what it will be. It will be what it will be. I've done my best. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. And once you've done your best, then, the rest is karma. Sometimes things happen because we've sown something in the past that wasn't very nice, and we just have to reap it. So when something negative happens, I tend to tell myself, Nalanie, good, one bad karma is gone out of the way. It's out of the way. And when you look at life like that, then also you don't want to do anything that's destructive for anybody else. You don't want to hurt them in any way. And this is where, okay, how do you do it when you live with unpleasant people? Sri Patanjali tells us, stay away. Disregard them. Don't give them energy. Neither positive, neither negative. Just don't be in their energy field. Walk away if you can. Walk away. Many times something angers us and we make a story out of it. Walk away. Tell them you don't want them in your life. Does going through difficult times help us to develop spiritually? Yes, it does. It does help us to develop. As I've always said, we are very good when things are going right. We behave perfectly. Maybe sometimes we take everything for granted too much. But it is the difficult times that help us to build up our resilience, our strength, our self-respect. Because when we have a difficult time and we get through it, we like ourselves more. When we crumble, we don't like ourselves. We're depressed. Why do you think everybody who feels like a victim is depressed? Because they don't like themselves. How can you like yourself if you're always complaining? And then on top of it, not knowing that you're complaining and blaming everybody else, when really you have the most powerful tools in your hand. This body, this mind, this is a gift. And like I said, as human beings, as Master Chinmayananda, also a disciple of Master Shivananda, used to say, we were born to be angels, and from their progress to be demigods, and from their progress to be one with the divine. But instead, we live like we have no gifts, and in the Bible it says, God made man in its own image. What is it telling us? capacity we have within us. And the yoga science, know the microcosm and you will know the macrocosm. Study yourself and you will understand everything in this world, that we come from one consciousness. We come from one energy that just split itself into millions of energies just so that we would have some kind of fun in life. So we have some experience. We wanted the experience. So yes, going through difficult times does make us stronger. I know I am very grateful for all my difficult times, because I couldn't be doing this and counseling people if I didn't know pain, if I didn't know suffering, if I didn't go through difficult times. And when I see my difficult times, they're nothing compared to some of the people I meet. Or in some of my counseling, the abuse they have taken, and I complain about difficult times, nothing compared to these people. I had somebody once, his mother had no time for him. The father left the mother, and she was very lazy. So she did her job to make enough money, but she used to feed him with dog food every day. Dog food every day. She couldn't be bothered. Now, you imagine growing up from 2 years old to 15 when he realized that's what his mother gave him. I just think it's so sad, and I go, my goodness, these things really happen? But they do. And he was very, very, his life was in a very sad place when I met him. But he really did try. He tried to meditate, he tried to make himself better, he tried to forgive her. He really tried to forgive her, and he did in the end. And but he just sat and I complain. His mother never bothered with him, used to beat him, and he still managed to forgive her. So when I see hardship, like so many people complaining about lockdown, I go, well, you know what? I see some people who've gone through much, much, much worse. And young girls that have been abused by their fathers or uncles or father's best friends, and at the age, for many, many years, because nobody would believe them. And then you go, how do they go through it? How do they go through it? And then they come out. I had a lady I met at 45. She could never have a decent relationship because she was abused as a child and she never spoke about it. And when she came to me, her father was dead, her mother was dead, and she left home as soon as she could because her mother kept on telling her she was a liar every time she tried to tell her mother. And so she felt so betrayed. As soon as she could, she left home. And she couldn't make much of her life, just job to job and job to job. And she was there 45, totally in pain. And then she started the practices of changing the mindset. And you know what? She started right after 3 months of doing this. I really have to admire this woman. She started studying nutrition. She started studying, what else did she study? Ayurveda. She also, I forgot, quite a few things. And then she left Gibraltar and ended up to be a naturopath. Incredible. And then she started living. Do you know? So you can. And she told me that it was her past that helped her to help people. Now if she can do it, who are we to complain? So yes, it does help us to develop spiritual muscles. So with that, I've got more questions. Okay, I got one more question. So Nalanie, is it okay not make peace with the wicked? Is it okay to disregard and never make peace? Very good question, Bernie. Excellent question. Is it okay not to make peace? You remember the story of the monkey and the bird, all right? Sometimes if a person is so violent, by making peace with them, they just won't understand. They don't understand. There are people like that, okay? So you need to disregard them. But where you need to make peace is within yourself. So don't be in their energy field. Don't go and confront them, because they will just bite you because they don't understand. They are not in the same energy field. That's asking for trouble. So what you need to do is make peace in your own mind. Do what Lord Jesus did. My Father in heaven, forgive them. They know not what they do. And that's how you deal with it. You don't try to do anything. Don't try to confront them, please. This can be very dangerous. I have seen people try to do that with people who are really violent, and all that's happened is they get beaten up. And I go, why did you do that? You know, I'm supposed to forgive, but you don't go in front of a person that's so violent. I always say, in order to be a lion tamer, in order to be a lion tamer, you have to study, you have to know about lions, right? You really have to understand them and understand their moods. Now, so if you go into the field of somebody who's really wicked and quite violent, they will only hurt you. So make peace within yourself. That's what you need to do. Cover them in light and pray for them. May they find their peace one day, but don't go into their field. Very few people can do this. Very, very few people can do this. So it can be quite dangerous. So yes, it is okay sometimes not to make peace with the very wicked. But those are not too many people in this world, I think. Is it okay to disregard and never make peace? Yeah, I think I answered that question. In the case of extreme violent people, in the case of extremely nasty people. Okay, now what about in the case of family that is not so wicked but has caused you a lot of problems? And this has happened to some of my students. Her sister, a family member, was really, really nasty to her for years, always putting her down, making her, and she just used to dread it and live in so much pain. And I asked her to please cover her sister with light, wish her well, when she was in her sister's energy field, to keep as quiet as possible. Let her sister go on and not to react. It's a sister. What can you do? You have to be with them, but not to react. And to repeat the mantra in her head all the time while the sister was talking in one ear, out the other, and practice this. This woman did it. And my God, the reaction was, after I think a year or not, I have to ask her again, I can't remember so many stories, but I think after that, her sister no longer affected her energy field, and she could be polite to her sister without any anger in her own heart. She didn't allow her sister's words to get into her system. So there was no more this negative energy around. And she managed it. She did it. And in fact, she never does talk about it anymore. I've never heard her talk about her sister in the last 4 years. So she must have gone through that. And I've seen that with somebody else who was with a brother like that. And didn't really go and communicate the peace, but sent good energy to them. And when the brother would really be negative with them, they would say, oh, okay, I wish you well. That's it. 3 words, I wish you well. Peace be with you. Nothing else. And over the years, the brother has relented and actually called the other brother and said, I love you. I love you. I really love you, and I really care about you. See, energy works far greater. So sometimes you cannot do too much, just give love from a distance, all right?